deeper, straight to the court now. Get louder, let them hear your voice now. It might get harder, but we stay the course now. We stand up building the hometown. Together we're tearing the walls down. We're rolling together now. We're rolling together now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Empower and Eat, where we celebrate and elevate the voices of female entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Denisha Porter, Executive Director of All In Cincinnati. Today's episode is a special one. We're focusing on funding, finance, and scalability. We'll explore the financial journeys, challenges, and leadership strategies of our guests today. So stay tuned as we serve up inspiration and insights at the wonderful Soul Secrets. So come on in and join the conversation. Hey Candice, thank you so much for inviting me to your spot. I should say Miss Candice Holloway, owner of Soul Secrets, this beautiful establishment here. So tell me how you got started from the beginning to the end. What was it like for you to establish your own business?
Sure. Thank you, Denisha. Thanks for coming. Thanks for having us. So yeah, our journey started at Finley Market, actually Finley Kitchen. We started out as caterers at Finley Kitchen. We were doing lots of corporate catering. We did lots of soul food. So we did mac and cheese, collard greens, fried chicken, fried fish.
Best macaroni and cheese, hands down.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, those are the things that we started off at Finley Kitchen doing. We were doing pop-ups. Brunch pop-ups where we were just trying to test out recipes, kind of get a feel for what the city liked, what the city didn't like, what was good, what we thought was good that other people might not think was as good.
Oh, so what are some of the things that came out on the winning side? What are some of the things that came out on the losing side?
Well, I think that we had lots of winners, but it didn't necessarily fit the formula of soul food. So there were things that I didn't think really quite matched our brand.
Okay.
So we had to tone it down. That's why we have a smaller menu at the restaurant. So whereas people were requesting shrimp and grits and things like that, it doesn't necessarily ease the flow of a menu. So those are some of the ideas that I was trying to formulate as we were testing at Finley Market as well.
Gotcha. So about how many people were you serving a week through catering at Finley Market?
I would say we probably had about 3-4 corporate catering events a week.
That's huge.
Yeah. And I'm still working. I was still working another job. So it was supposed to be a small catering thing, but it definitely picked up because there was a huge gap in soul food in the city.
Yes, it was. Yes. And so that is so funny to me because we went to high school together. Shout out Juana Hills.
Yes. Absolutely.
Go Eagles.
Yes.
But I always saw you as a business owner. I always saw you as a boss. Like that was your personality when we were in school. And so I didn't even know you had another job before you started this. So what was kind of the impetus for you to start your business then if you had a job? What made you want to start Soul Secrets?
Well, I actually had another business.
That's what I knew.
Not a job necessarily, a business. But I was consulting. And the reason I started Soul Secrets is it was a way for me to connect with my daughter. So there were some challenges as she was growing up in her teenage years, and I felt like it was an easier way for us to connect with one another. So I started sharing recipes that my grandmother shared with me, started sharing family recipes. It was also a way for me to take bacon off of my plate and just cook for the holidays and add Thanksgiving dinners for bacon for her. But it was a way for me to really dive in, connect, kind of see what she was dealing with and experiencing. So that was really the whole start of Soul Secrets, is me connecting and having some one-on-one time with my daughter. Like, we're baking, it's therapeutic. It's a way for me to kind of get the ins and outs of what's going on with her everyday life and some of the emotions that she was dealing with. So
I love that. That is actually good advice for parents who are looking for ways to connect with their children as well, maybe like through cooking with each other or baking. What was her favorite thing that she liked to bake?
So pound cakes. We started off actually like with the cakes. And then we started off doing the puddings, the banana pudding, which was
and
really
that's
big.
the signature here, right? The
It is
banana
a signature.
pudding. Okay,
Yes, we
gotcha.
sell
What's
a ton of
the
banana pudding.
What's the secret?
Yeah,
You don't
no
tell me
secrets.
that.
No trade secrets.
I tried for you guys.
Yeah, no, but we definitely started out with baking. And then she naturally is a great cook. Like, so she started cooking and we started, you know, connecting and having that one-on-one time, that quiet time while we were baking and cooking to kind of bring us up to Soul Secrets, the actual business. And then like a lot of people always ask like, hey, can you make me a pan of macaroni and cheese? Can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not making mac and cheese anymore. So in my mind, I'm like, we need to create a business. And so that was the start. And I actually started out with Soul Secrets. She was going away to school. She got a partial scholarship to Howard. Yeah. But I knew that we could bring in some extra cash having another business. So we started that other business, Soul Secrets, at Finley Kitchen as a way to kind of support that tuition that we had to pay for school.
That's huge.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so transition us here to this brick and mortar. Like, how did you go from Finley Market to this location?
Okay. So we actually, in 2020, we were supposed to be the first cohort at Finley Launch. They started a new idea where they were allowing businesses to test out their business concept. And then COVID happened. And so everything was shut down, the world shut down. And actually 3CDC reached out to us. Yeah.
So they
were like,
identified.
They reached out like, hey, is there anything that we could help with? What are some of the things and some of the challenges? And we started working with them early on during COVID. And then we recognized that it was a good partnership, started looking at some places, and here we are. So,
here you are doing amazing stuff.
Yes.
So one of the things that I noticed when I first came in here are all the beautiful pictures of your family on the walls. Can you kind of describe the pictures and then also talk about generational wealth, how this is building and sustaining a business for your daughter to come?
So the pictures on the wall was very important to me because my grandmother was born in 1927. She was born in Forsyth, Georgia. She didn't have a lot to leave to us, but what she did leave was invaluable, right? The foundation of cooking and something that I can teach to my own daughter and my granddaughter, even her daughter. We're baking and cooking. So it was important to highlight the women that had a significant impact in my life, and as well as making sure that my daughter understood, you know, where we came from and how these traditions should carry on as, you know, time passes, which in turn creates generational wealth because we're building this brand, because Soul Secrets is bigger than us having this brick and mortar. It is a brand that will expand, right? And so, you know, the goal will ultimately be for her to have her own spaces and transition to her to some bigger things so that she can create that generational wealth in the future.
And so as we're having this conversation, I was thinking about, have you ever thought of having cooking classes here?
Good point. So actually, we are in the process of moving a team of people back to Finley Kitchen because we're growing. Our catering requests are growing. And in the Finley Kitchen, they have a space, a classroom space, where we can do some cooking classes. So we have some date nights planned for Christmas. We have a lot of things that are planned that we're working with. Our Pepsi partnership that we did when we won the Restaurant Royalty, they're helping us like behind the scenes, some support, some mentorship to kind of get some other things rolling. So we are going to Finley Kitchen to do some cooking classes. So we'll do some baking classes with the kids, like some mommy and me baking classes, some date nights, and some other things that we have in the works. It's just a matter of building a solid team that can help us.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Candice, for all that you're doing in the community. I just even remember the first time I actually came here and I was going from meeting to meeting. It was about 8 o'clock at night. I hadn't eaten all day and I just came here. Actually, the last event that I had was next door and I came like, Candice, I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. Like, can you take care of me? And you were like, yes, you can have this table right here, order whatever you need, and I got you. And I just love that. It's like not only are you feeding people, but you're actually feeding the soul and feeding the spirit. So thank you so much for starting your business here, Soul Secrets. Yes, I can't wait to go back and see the macaroni and cheese, the chicken I had, the salmon I had that day. I had a whole lot.
Okay, well, no salmon on the menu right now. That's the part of toning the menu down, right?
Well, the greens were amazing
we got
too.
greens, yes. So,
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
This smells amazing, Candice. Can you please tell me about a couple of your dishes?
Thank you. So these are the items that we sell the most of. So we have our mac and cheese on the line. So tons of mac and cheese. Our collard greens, sweet potatoes, and our green beans, and like all of our vegan items are on the side to stay separated from the other items. So
I love it. Tell them about your vegan items, because you have a vegan pot pie. Is that right? Or is it
seasonal?
Seasonal. Okay.
Yes.
And there was
we had a vegan Salisbury steak.
Yep, that's what it is.
Yeah. So we sell a vegan Salisbury steak. A lot of our meat eaters love it, but it is a Beyond Meat patty. And we just kind of add our own flavor and flair to it to make it a Soul Secret Salisbury steak.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over here and I can package up some stuff to take home.
So this is our peach cobbler. We do package our peach cobbler to go because most people, the portions are so big they can't eat before they go home. So this is the peach cobbler. We make it in-house every day. This is it. You can scoop it up. Most people like the crust, so make sure you get some crust too.
Yes, the crust is the best part. And so what are some other items? You have jambalaya on the menu, right?
Yes, we do. We have jambalaya, we have meatloaf, salmon. We do have salmon croquettes.
Yes,
okay?
salmon.
croquettes.
I knew you did.
We do use fresh salmon every day to make croquettes. But, those are the things. Banana pudding.
Yes.
And, those things. And gumbo. Like it's gumbo season.
Gumbo.
Like lots of people have been asking about gumbo and those things, and I didn't have it in the summer months because it was too hot.
Right.
So we just started adding gumbo back to the menu. So we definitely have gumbo.
I love it.
But this is our peach cobbler. My mom makes this every day. She just left.
Are you serious? She makes it every day fresh? Oh my God. This is my peach cobbler. So excited. Thank you so much, Candice.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Welcome back to Empower and Eats. And sitting next to me, we have the amazing Senator Kathy Ingram. And then you guys already know Candice Holloway. And then joining us, we have Shauntel Dobbins. So let's get started. Shauntel, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your business?
So FinanciallyU is 7 years old, and we are a financial literacy network helping Black women specifically with their entrepreneur skills and also helping them with their personal finance so they can level up in their personal finance and business finance world.
Amazing. And then can you tell me, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you coach businesses through?
Some of the biggest challenges is honestly budgeting. Understanding what I always tell our clients, if you learn how to budget your own personal finance, that business finance will come to you a little bit easier, because at the end of the day, it's the money coming in and the money going out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So Senator Ingram, so you've been in a policymaker for a while now, right? You started with the Board of Education, and then you were in the House, and now you're a senator. Can you tell me some policies that we can implement to help Black business owners?
I think that part of what we've done, and it's not so much as policy that we make, but encouraging our entities that already function at the State House or at a statewide level, like the Department of Development, to make sure that there are opportunities for minority businesses, and especially minority women businesses, to be able to take advantage of procurement opportunities to be involved in various training. For instance, we do have at our education department an opportunity for financial literacy. So you may be able, with your business, to jump in just a little earlier with our high school students and do some of that training then not have to rely on the teachers having to do that, even though sometimes they do have finance teachers, but sometimes they need to learn that stuff too. So we're looking at policies that are inclusive. So when we do housing and construction and things of that nature, we're actually always pushing for making sure that minority businesses are included. And so I think that that's important for us to do at the state level when we're developing policy.
Amazing. That's why I called her amazing, right? So Candice, tell us about yourself and something that you feel like was a small win that led to like a bigger win later on.
So I think a small win when we had lots of challenges to open. And some of the wins that we did have were the opportunities that were community-based, that we were able to do some pitch competitions, or we were able to get some grants and some funding so that we can secure some of our equipment and some of the things that we needed to finish out our build out for our brick and mortar. So that was definitely a small win. I would say on the bigger side is just growing. We're in our event space, so we've expanded. We've had that opportunity to expand and utilize the space for like community functions as well as like corporate events and just expand ourselves. So definitely big win and kind of opens us up for bigger expansions later.
I love that. Shauntel, can you tell us a little bit about different funding opportunities? So she mentioned like pinch competitions and there's grants. What are some other things?
Well, some of the funding opportunities that that I know of has been United Way with the Black Empowerment Grants. FinanciallyU was the recipient of that, so we were really grateful because it helped us to have, with our program, Girl Get Your Money Right, which is a growth series to help individuals dealing with their emotions regarding finance. Because we understand if you don't have a mindset of finance and how to do budgeting, the output is not going to be there. Also, there are other grants I know Ohio, they have a lot of different, it's called the Grant Watch. So there's a lot of various grants, even with Hamilton County, they have different grants. I think they have a small business office that helps individuals, small business owners with grants.
Just to kind of circle back, so this episode is about funding and finance, and then also scalability. So Candice, can you talk a little bit about how you want to scale your business in the future?
Sure. So I think it was important for us starting Soul Secrets to kind of get the foundation of what business looks like and what it takes to run a business on a day-to-day operation and kind of creating some SOPs. I think since we're approaching year 3, that we are in the process. It's almost 3 years. 3 years here, like brick and mortar. It feels like it feels like that. But we started out catering because we needed to test the market. Like lots of people think they have great ideas, but we needed to test the market and make sure that it was a concept that was necessary in this area, in this space that we are in. And now I think that since we've been in business, we've have things established, we've removed some things, added some things. We are in the process of looking in like Columbus area. Woo-hoo! Yeah, so we are excited about scaling to that area, but we know what it takes here to move to another space and to be able to duplicate ourselves. So that is important to us.
Well, what advice could you give around scalability? How does a business know that they're ready to go to the next level?
Well, I think that not having to be so hands-on anymore, like these are our family recipes, but I'm able to remove myself and create a team that's able to help me to scale and to expand and not have to be present every day, but still know that the quality and the product that we're looking to put out is still there. And so if we're going to another city, state, I mean, I'm obviously not relocating. Right. It's important that in my absence that our same food, our same product, our same integrity of the brand is able to be carried on. So at the moment for me that I was able to step away and know that the business can function without me and on a regular, consistent basis, it made me feel like, okay, we're ready to grow, as well as kind of keeping our menu small. I think a lot of people overdo it. We have a very small menu. Sometimes we get complaints. Some people love it, but for me, it's best because I know what we're serving and what we have. So,
I love that. Senator Ingram, what do you think is, I guess, something on a small scale that we can change in the ecosystem that can really support Black women-owned businesses? And then maybe something just like really out there, I won't say far-fetched, but futuristic, that could make a big change in Cincinnati.
Well, I don't know how futuristic. But we have to first start out saying, knowing what we don't know. So getting to those resources that are there, and we spend a lot of money trying to make sure that we have economic development and we have inclusion. So it's important to go to those agencies, say at this state level, the Department of the Administrative Services folks, and see, or the Ohio housing people who may have we have entrepreneurs in every vein, young women also in every vein. So paying attention to what's going on at that level. The African American Chamber works hard trying to make connections for folks. And I think there are some things that, here again, why I said you know what you don't know, is that like there's a lot of money. And we have to make sure that we have our hand out just like everybody else.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there are many times when African Americans aren't paying attention. And
To where the
maybe I
money
shouldn't
goes.
say it like that. But maybe they're not as aggressive certainly in trying to get those dollars as many people are, because unfortunately you'll find that it's lopsided when we start talking about who's getting some of those grants.
Right.
Unless we target them, then it's not clear how African American women are getting some of those grants that they're eligible for. So I think that I, as a legislator, have to make sure that we don't create programs that would negatively impact
I like that.
African American entrepreneurs, because you do start to hear things like, let's eliminate DEI and all of those other kinds of things. So it's like, wait a minute, you guys.
Right.
We put up with the nonsense for a very long time. And entrepreneurs, African American especially, deserve all the breaks that they can possibly get. And it's not a handout, it's a hand up. And that's what we should count it as. And so the laws that we have, and like I said, there are lots of resources there to make connections to, and we have to make sure that we are there. Forbes is here right now in the city of Cincinnati, 30 under 30.
Yes.
And I don't care if you're 40, you should still be able to take advantage of whatever's going on. The free training that the IT folks did through the United Way, through the grant that they got, that you should be able to take advantage of that. And that was specifically for African American women entrepreneurs. And I think the Urban League was one of the trainers, and somebody else was one of the trainers. Those are the kind of things that we have to start to telling one another about, and recognize that we're all in this together, and there's space for everybody.
I love that. So you said something that was really key, learning how to balance being assertive. Like, can you give some tips on how to do that?
Well, the bad part about it is when a woman, period, is aggressive, she becomes the B word in the room. Black woman becomes the angry Black woman. So we've got to understand that that's a myth.
Right.
We have to make that disappear in our minds when it comes to saying, I deserve this. And so, I'm here and I'm going to call you every day until you tell me that either I don't get the grant and give it to somebody else, or why I didn't get the grant. Or help me with it, especially if that's what you do.
Right, exactly.
So we have a bad habit of saying, oh, well, didn't get it, going home.
Right.
No. So we've got to do that more often. Trust ourselves. And here again, trust the people around us, and then try to get that work done. Just be out there. Just forget about who calls you whatever.
I love that. So speaking of trust, Shauntel, when you stepped out to be an entrepreneur, what made you really trust your instincts, your gut, to say, I can do this and I can help other businesses?
Well, what made me do it was a God moment for me. I was a single parent, And with my 3 kids, I didn't have people to pour into me regarding finances. I knew how to spend money. I knew how to spend money, but as far as spending it properly and savings and all those types of things, I didn't have that. And also, as we all know, Black women are underserved, and I was underserved in that area. So I just said I wanted to end judge and shame. So I wanted to be the people that what would
that for a minute though, like judged and shamed.
Well, sometimes there's a statement that that sometimes people say they just need to learn, and you can fill in the blank, whether it's savings, whether it's writing grants, whether it's doing whatever. But if no one teaches you, how are you gonna learn? So I decided to be the people what I had from what I wanted from myself. So whether it was in their finances, personal and professional, how to help them to build business credit, how to but basically to let them know you're not being judged. Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. Right. And sometimes it's hidden from us.
Right.
And so I just wanted to be the people what I wish I had from myself.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. When we come back, we're going to have an array of foods. We're going to have macaroni and cheese, greens, chicken, salmon, croquettes. We do have those here. What else are we going to have?
I think we have some gumbo and some jambalaya.
Cornbread, maybe?
Cornbread, yeah, there's some cornbread.
And what the dessert? Banana pudding, right?
Banana pudding, yeah.
All right, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Empower and Eat, and we have our food here. So let's start with Shauntel. What do you have?
I have the fried chicken, dark meat.
I love the way you have to say dark meat.
Macaroni and cheese, collard greens, and my favorite, potato salad.
Awesome. What do you have?
So I have fried chicken as well, and I have jambalaya and a salmon croquette.
And I have what I had when I came here and I was super hungry. Candice fed me. I have macaroni and cheese, greens, sweet potatoes, and the salmon croquette, and some cornbread. And what do you have?
And I have jambalaya. No, I don't. I have gumbo.
Collard green gumbo.
Collard green gumbo. That's from being greedy. Just looking at it. I can eat it. And I have salmon croquette and cornbread. And she doesn't know it yet, but I'm getting some of her macaroni and cheese.
Oh, you can have some. So did I ever ask you what's your favorite food here?
I don't know that you did. I have so many favorites because they're all menu items that I grew up cooking and eating with my grandmother. But I would say probably the mac and cheese, because the mac and cheese was really important in our family. Like, it's like, who making the mac and cheese? Who bringing the mac and cheese? Right. So you had to know how to make the mac and cheese. So the mac and cheese, I would say.
Well, I'm gonna dig in, but as we do, I'm gonna take my first bite. So good. Really good.
Really good. I'm glad I'm on TV, so.
So Candice, like, what is some advice or a takeaway that you can give to other people who really want to start their business? Or maybe a fun fact, something that they didn't think about.
I would say the biggest takeaway that I have being in business is to know your target audience. And I think it's really important. I think sometimes people have these ideas and they get overwhelmed with a lot of negativity. And I think for me, I knew who my target audience was and is. And you have to also recognize that the whole city of Cincinnati is not my target audience. And I think that is okay when you can focus in on what you know you're pushing out and who you are catering to. And I think that that's really important so that you can stay centered in the business and focused as well. So
yes, that's super important. But also, I think you told me something that I didn't know, and this was the fun fact that I was alluding to. You started your business with grant funds.
Yes. So when we started building Soul Secrets, as I think we discussed this, we were in the middle of COVID. The banks were like, "You're building a restaurant, like what?" and nobody was interested in giving out funding. So we really had to dig in. We really had to pursue, as Kathy was saying, like grants. We went through Main Street Ventures. We got $30,000 through Main Street Ventures. We had the Urban League was very helpful. We had the Over the Rhine Chamber. Like we did pitch competitions.
Ooh, talk about what a pitch competition is.
So we went through Black Girl Ventures. That was a pitch competition. It came to Cincinnati. You have to write essays. We've written so many essays, but about our business. But we were very focused on what our why was. And in the pitch competitions, that's really what it is. It's like, what's the reason for your business? What is your business servicing? And I think that's what we focused on during the pitch competition. And we won first place.
Yay!
Yeah, so we won $10,000. So we probably got, about $130,000 in grant money. Like just
that's
from
amazing.
pitches and just pursuing different avenues and just telling our story.
Pat you on the back.
I pat myself on the back, girl, because it was hard. It was hard, and it sometimes gets a little discouraging. But I think, as you said, like we really dug in. We really knew, like, I know that this is an assignment. I know this is what God has for me, and what's next. And we had to pursue those grants so that we can get to the next. And here we are, we're in the process of doing another pitch. I will pitch. We have to. So yeah.
I love that. What about you, Shauntel?
For me, remember your why. Remember the purpose of your why. Why did you start? For me, again, wanting to serve.
Yes.
It's not about me. It's wanting to serve, because these are the talents and the gifts that God gave me, and I want to share it. But what I also will understand, even because with business, you have your ebbs and flows. Mm-hmm. Sometimes in life you have your ebbs and flows, and for me, in remembering my why, collaboration happened, partnership happened. I partner with different nonprofits. I partner with different churches in the city. Understanding with financial literacy, it's creating in its own way generational wealth.
Yes.
Because our children are our biggest commodity, and they don't know, they are illiterate. And so financial literacy needs to start not at the high school, not the babies. So in doing so, then they're growing up, it won't be hidden from them. Money, how to navigate the personal finance won't be hidden from them. If they want to have a business at a young age, you see different children have these little lemonade stands. They're doing things, and it won't be hidden from them.
Right.
Even with my daughter, one of my daughters, I didn't know what to give her for her birthday. I gave her an LLC.
Yes. Yeah.
I gave her an LLC, and so for me, it's ministry, because charity begins at home.
It does.
But I remember my why, because when you remember your why, it keeps you from pulling the plug. So that's for me. That's remember my why.
I love it. What about you, Senator Ingram?
Well, I'm going to say, as I said previously, is that don't be afraid to ask. Know what you don't know. Right. And there are lots of people, and you look and you see it in magazines, and you see people and young African Americans all across this country, and women doing bigger and bolder things. And we have to be able to say, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
But then we have to understand, how did we get there? How did we get to that? How did she get to that? Where is that phone rings? But we have to understand how that all works. And so don't be afraid to ask the questions. I was just telling a young man that Jobs Ohio, there are dollars out there, the Chamber of Commerce. There's things that we need to take advantage of and not act like they're doing us a favor. We are actually doing our city, our region a favor. You are actually doing the city and the region a favor by being that business that employs some other people and that can build that wealth that becomes generational. And so we are, any grant that you get is an investment. And that's what they should be doing. Same thing with you. It's all an investment, and we should be making that, and decisions that we make at the state, the local level, as far as funding and our budgets and all of those things that we do, should take into consideration how do we help people help themselves and therefore help one another.
Absolutely.
I love that. And I guess the thing that I would add is seek out and learn from others and just try different things. And so as we were talking about different ways of getting funding, Candice mentioned that she could do a pitch all day, but that may not be like what you do, but Candice can tell you how to do that better, but you may write grants better. You might be a great writer, and you can teach someone how to do that skill as well. I really want us to see us come together as a community and build one another up and pour into each other so that we can all become successful. All right, that's it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us for Empowering Eats. Thank you. See you guys next time.